Hi viewers, welcome to another episode with the Decipher. Um, like I always like to do, shout out to all the guys who subscribe. Thank you very much. Mucho gracias. Gracias muchos. Thank you for whatever part of the world you're from. I just want to say thank you. And please let's continue subscribing. Share the link, share the channel. Go and watch it. I only do live streams. My platform is not big enough for me to employ someone to start snipping and cutting my videos for me, but if you know who can do it for me, just let me know. Maybe I need to do more of it, because some of the feedback I got is that I actually need to introduce this into my content. So if you know anyone who can do it, please let me know. But I still want to say thank you, because the only motivation I get these days is from you guys who subscribe every day, and I say thank you. All right. So I talk various sort of conversation. I don't shy away from something that I think it's important. It's humanity related. Okay, so this is not about being white, black, brown, purple. If you know me very well, I could care less. But today is gonna hit home a little bit. When I say it's gonna hit home, I mean it's gonna be home. Where is home, ladies and gentlemen? Home is Africa. All right, the motherland. I know this sort of conversation, it doesn't come without a little couple of punches. And I am going to say some things today that might irritate some people, because it's quite very difficult for us to detach our mindset from something that is working against our interest. And these are some of the things that I observed from close proximity, and I've seen how dangerous it can be. So this is why I want to have this conversation with all sincerity, with all due respect to my Muslim brothers, to all due respect to my Christian brothers too. This is not to antagonize you. This is not to tell you that your religion is bad or not. But this is just to open our minds to the possibilities of what sort of world we could have if we start actually, let's use the things that we read from all these books to come to a better understanding in what sort of world it could be. We're not telling you to put it down as a thumbnail could tell you. Put down the Bible and the Quran. If you ask me, Decipher, what do you mean put down the Bible and the Quran? I'm going to highlight some, and I've compiled a couple of videos that I'm going to use it to narrate and tell you a story, because I'm a good storyteller according to what I've been told. So I'm going to highlight to you the importance of why we need to put this aside. And when I say put it aside, I'm not telling you to completely forget your religion or forget where you come from. That's not what, that's not the motive behind the conversation. The motive behind the conversation is to see where this thing starts from and what it has led us to now. And a lot of these videos I'm going to share is from other people, their perspective. What has built the ideology? What has built the way they like to do things and how they see things? And this is what brought me to this point. So what if, imagine in a world whereby we can put the Bible and the Quran aside and actually look how we can treat our fellow human being with integrity, sincerity, and how we can build within. Okay, and this has no any affiliation to do with Bible or Quran or Christianity or Muslim or whatever denomination that you believe in. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple of videos about some people that it's not like I agree with them. I even find the ones that I don't agree with. That's something about my content. It's not about, I'm not expecting you to kiss my ass. Pause. I'm not expecting you for you to believe anything that I tell you. I'm just going to give you the information that I find and contradicting point of views. That way you can come with some sort of what's your own truth. Because if I tell you that this is what you should believe in, you're most likely not going to listen to me. You will do the complete opposite. So I'm not going to install or implement one ideology in your head. Oh, this is the best way. No. If both of them are the best way, so by now everybody should be living the best lives. But yes, we're not. So this conversation is not only for Africans. It's for every other part of the world too, if you want to be part of it. So please do me a favor. Share these links. Let's sit down. Let's have a grown-up talk. A grown-up conversation that has nothing to do with ethnicity. It just had to do with human experience. In my channel is one thing I do constantly. I do every time. So I talk from a place of human experience. All right, because we've done a lot of damage already to ourselves in this world. That I don't think, just sit down and just listen to a different perspective. That is not a 10 or 15-second video that you're looking to feel. You're looking for that dopamine, but this is a good dopamine for you. All right, if you're interested. All right, all right. Let's go straight to it. What do I have for you? I'm gonna show you this man. Some of you might know this man. Some of you might not know this man. This man has been around the block for a bit, and he says a lot of things. In some cases, I do agree with him. But I'm gonna play two different versions of this man saying the same thing, but one other guy is reacting to it because he's coming from a different perspective. And this man is coming from a different perspective. Now I'm gonna give you my own perspective. What I decipher from the same thing. One man is saying something, and two men are gonna react to it to give you two different perspectives. And that way you can open your mind. Because that's the only thing I've always done on my platform, is that how can I let you open your mind to possibilities of a lot of things that you want to avoid, or you think it's just too much for you to come to some sort of comprehension. You understand? So this is why I like to do these in a very educative way. It's not like all this nonsense that we consume on social media. But DJ, drop the track. All right, let's get to it straight away. This is the man. Let me let him speak for a bit, and I'll pause it. Listen.
Christianity and Islam by nature, they are bullies of African culture. It is expressed in their intolerance of other people who believe differently from who they are. So here's a simple example. If a Muslim walks into this village, the first object is to build a mosque and make everyone in that village a Muslim. Mm-hmm. It changes your timetable of waking up. You wake up at 5, changes your fashion, changes the way you bury your loved ones. Now you must do everything according to Islamic law. The same thing is true with Christianity. Christianity walks into a space, first thing they want to do, as a Zulu, as a Xhosa, you take off your shirt and put on your beautiful beads. Hebrew beads, by the way, which are Jewish. You put on your Hebrew gear, which is traditional, and you walk up to church. Christianity will look at you, though now there's a bit of tolerance. But the first glance is unacceptable. Because the God that Christianity has does not have tolerance for culture. Does not. Rather, I'd rather take off that thing, put on your shirt, you put a tie on you, put a jacket, polish your shoes, and say, now you look nice. Because apparently you must become European first before you can become Christian. In order for God to accept you, He cannot accept you in your authenticity. He needs first to take you through the culture of the dominant culture, which is the colonial culture, before you can actually become an acceptable Christian. An intelligent conversation needs to take place where we say, is everything that we are doing in the Christian church Christian? Or some of the things, norms, and rituals that we're performing are actually European culture, but now they've been couched and packaged as Christianity. The way we sing, for example, the way we dress, for example, the way we eat, for example, the way we celebrate our things, our holidays, our festivals, our Passovers, and etc. Are these things, Easters, are these things biblical? Christmases.
You ruffled a lot of feathers with
some changes that are cutting
Easter issue over the Easter weekend.
I mean, it's a simple question.
No, I understand.
How many days are between Friday and Sunday, if I can ask you? How many days?
I've had that question from a person I used to stay with in Durban in 1999. I couldn't answer him.
But what,
he asked the same
mathematically,
thing.
don't be religious.
No, I get that. I get that. I get it. But I don't understand why people
it almost like when religion walks up to you,
blinds you.
It must numb your brain from common sense, so that a simple question like how many days are between Friday and Sunday, you begin to want to chew your thing. It's like almost all the knowledge you went to school for disappears through the window.
But maybe Christianity pushes faith more than rationale. So if you accept it by faith, maybe you don't have to reason.
But faith is not stupid. Faith is knowledge in manifest.
So I want to pause that for a second, and then I'm gonna play another video from a man of God. It's a Christian pastor, and as you all know me, I've shared this on this channel. I'm from a Christian home, and I like ass. You understand? I mean, nice big booty, juicy booty from a woman. Pause, not what you think. I identify as him, not they or them. Don't go and cut this now and make it some memes, because I'm gonna jump you like a mother sucker. In all seriousness, I like, I have things for the beautiful women. I like beautiful women. You understand? But in church, back in those days, where I grew up from, you're not supposed to like women. If you only like women, you must marry. But unfortunately, you find out a lot of pastors, all the choir, the whatever it is, they're doing all sort of things. So the pastor is knocking all the nicest women, and you in church, you go, Holy Spirit, Holy God. A conversation for another day. But the thing is that I'm going to play this video again from this pastor, and it's going to give you a different perspective. And I want you to hear what he's going to say, because I'm not a pastor. He's a pastor. But listen to what he's going to say.
Religion has wounded us in Africa. It has not allowed us to employ our mental capacity.
At all.
Because instead of engaging reasoning and logic, we engage religion. I went for interview. They didn't employ me. They have started doing me from the village. Meanwhile, out of 10 questions, you only attempted one. Out of 10, you attempted one. And when they say, how many questions did you answer? You say, they do me from village. They do me because the moment they ask me question, my brain went blank. So everything that them do you, then do you, then do you. See unbelievers that don't have fasting, no prayer. They engage themselves and make money. No witches follow them. It's you that is inside church with fasting. 40 days in January, 50 days in August, 75 days in November, December. Yet you cannot keep 1 million naira for your child. Is something wrong with your God? I don't like that kind of God. I want a God that blesses the good and the bad.
So that is one of the things that I do really appreciate. Out of all the African pastors, that is the only man that if I ever get back to Africa one day, I want to attend his church. Because I've opened my ears quite often to listen his preaching, really. When he preach, those are the kind of pastors I want to go to their church. I'm not even promoting him, but I will promote him if I really need to promote him. That is a man that I will want to go to his church. Every of all these other churches that I see, hell no. Because many of them, if you know what they do in closed doors, conversation for another day. Okay? My African brothers and sisters, whatever spectrum of Africa you're from, I need you to come here for a minute. I need you to listen to this for a minute. You understand? You see, I played a video about a man that's spoken from the concept, a very intellectual way. Because if you know the man, you know him. He's very, very intellectual. And he's unfiltered. He's raw. He's going to give it to you straight. And these are the kind of people that I am alert, because that is who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you so that I can in tune to your spiritual, your faith beliefs. Okay? And if you think that if you listen to me, that does, oh, you're not a real Christian, you're not a born again. No, I have been born again, born before, crucified now, crucified before. I've been toasted and roasted, however you want to slice it, because that is what the modern Christianity brought me. I've been toasted and roasted by Christianity. I've been born twice, 3, 4, 5 times, born again, born before, born in the future, born whatever you want to call it. I've been born every way. But the thing is that what the man said, when it comes to Africa, he is 1000% accurate. Because I know this quite for a very long time, is that Africans in general, when things don't go our way, the number one person that we blame is our enemies in the village. My enemies, they have done me. Hey, I didn't get that job. Hey, I didn't get that money. Hey, it might be other factors that it's completely in your control, or sometimes those factors are completely out of your control. You understand? And these are the things that I talk about, the mindset. If you're going to take anything from my live stream today, I want you to open your mind. Open your mind. I just want to quickly read the thing. It said that religion has wounded everyone, but especially in Africa. Absolutely. Religion has done a whole lot of disservice to Africans. And this live stream tonight, please, I want you to share it with other Africans. Tell them to come and watch it and listen to it. The little data they have on their phone. You understand? And if you live overseas, everywhere as an Africans, listen to dissect it. Agree. The ones that you agree with me, fine. The ones that you don't agree, that's fine. Put it in the comment section. Let me read it. I want to know, because these are the grown-up conversation that we need to have. It's not about pointing fingers on both sides. It's to understand the pros and the cons of what religion has done to us. Sometimes you need to put down your burden and really see exactly what is the one that is carrying so much weight there. If you can alternate it or remove it or adjust it, so you can put it back on your head again. It's an African proverb. But let's move on. I do like what this man is starting with. Let's go on.
I refuse to spiritualize my mind when it comes to productivity.
Right there is the thing. So for those who are watching overseas, like Americans, every other part of the world, UK, Germany, France, for those who don't even speak English, basically, you see, Africans notoriously, no, I'm talking about notoriously Africans, at the way we look at spirituality, good Lord have mercy. Africans, the way we look at spirituality, it's next level. I'm tell you something. If you, I don't have a dollar. My enemies have succeeded. Man, I need to go and check. Something is going on. That is how much belief and faith we put in spirituality. Spirituality is so embedded into our psychology that you need to completely remove yourself out of that so-called spirituality and observe yourself and see exactly where you are really in life. Where are you in life? That is how much power spirituality have on people on an average day. Let's continue.
In the natural.
I think, I'm not sure your viewers are going to like this, but for me, you begin by demonizing religion. Guys, we cannot keep ukona in English. We can't keep hugging and nestling what we know is killing us. Religion has killed our people. Religion has taught our people that their ancestors are demons. Religion has taught our people that it's okay for Israel to commit acts of genocide and kill Palestinians and starve them to death in broad daylight because God said so. Religion has taught our people that men are better than women, which never was for us. Religion taught our people that you have to survive for yourself. As long as you have made that a commitment with Jesus, you are going to heaven. That we are not individual people. So even that confession of I accept Jesus is such an anathema to Africanism, because in our spirituality we come as a. You don't come as one, we come as a people. That's why in our rituals, it's collective. So now for me, where do we start? We start by telling people how religion has misled them and how for as long as they stay there, they are lost. But we need to start speaking against the bastardized African spirituality that is there, because that's also part of what's making people say, if this is what it is, I rather stay Christian.
So thank you very much. I do appreciate that woman, really. She's one of those women that she's very freaking unapologetic. And I really want to take up to them because they are passing the torch to me. And it's part of my responsibility for me to pass it on to the next generation. So I'll take it for as many years as I can be on airwaves. But I just want to quickly read someone says, have you heard of a pastor, Mike Oxlong, brother? No, I haven't known about him. To be honest with you, there's only one pastor that I'll give reference to, which is my own biological uncle. All right. He's the only man that I'll say, after that pastor, he's the only man that I'll say I want to sit and listen to his sermon. All right. Shout out, uncle. Shout out to you. But the thing is that realistically, when we truly break some things down, I think there was a joke that I heard once. They say it's only in Africa. Only in Africa that we embrace the Christianity so much and the Quran. Okay, this is not about just Christianity alone. It's only in Africa that we've embraced religion so much, both Quran and for us to tell you that don't chase the riches of this world, but wait, your riches are in heaven, and yet you can't put food on the table, and yet you can't get the best job, and yet 30 years ago, Africans alone used to send money to China for them as aid. Let me say it again. If you think I'm lying, research it. Check online, compare information. 30 years ago, Africa used to put money together to help China. Now, China is coming back to Africa to lend them money. What is the difference? So, Chinese people, are they devil? I just want to know though. So Chinese people, God, they have a different God. So their God is so evil that in 30 years, their God is so bad. In fact, your God as African, Your belief system as African, your religion as African is so better than a country that 30 years ago you were combining money together to help them with hate. Africans, your God, Jesus, Muhammad, they are so good that 30 years ago, you will combine money to help China. Today, China's God has changed their landscape so much that they are now living in so much wealth that now you, 30 years ago, now you can go to China and borrow money from China. What happened? Is your God sleeping? Is your God sleeping in the last 30 years? Because it's a very honest question to ask. Because how can an economy that has all, I'm talking about all the natural resources you can think about on the fucking planet of this earth, can't seems to get it right? Why? Because the history of the continent itself, I don't think there's a lot of factors that we can go into it. But the thing is that, you know, when I do my live stream, one of the things that I'm trying to tell my audience is that when you listen to me, whatever master's degree, whatever PhD, whatever college kundala you come from, I want you to put it aside. Critical thinking is what I need you. I want you to use the most basic common sense that you have that is running in your brain, and I want you to use it to decipher what we're talking about. What are other factors that is stopping us as a continent for us to take ourselves out of this perception for thousands of years that I've been squeezing and squeezing us so much, physically, mentally, psychologically, subconsciously? Why can't we get to a point to literally just look at things from the different point of view? Because I promise you right now, this live stream, you find a Christian man that is going to listen to anything that I said, that he won't be able to comprehend because his faith has told him not to listen to people like me. Let me say it again. An African man who all your life, when you cross your border, you are seen as the 5th least important person on the planet of this earth. Let me say it again. As a black man, as an African man, the pyramid of how the world works, how the world see you as a black man, as a black woman. There's a white man, an Asian man, a Middle Eastern man, a South American man, and then a black man. That is the pyramid. And every one of those, a white man is usually a Christian man. It comes with the version of Jesus Christ. Some people will say Yeshua. An Asian man who is a Buddhist in most places, or Hindu. Or some of them, they have their own gods. A South American man is a man that they have their own religion. They can travel as much as you want to travel. A Middle Eastern man is a Muhammad man. Usually. Because I found, even though in the Muslim, they have like different spectrum of what Muslim is. Now come you, an African man. And they told you that your traditional gods, they are demons. Because this is a part of the sub-psychological indoctrination that they've done with the educational system. They've told you that your God, as a black man, is a demon. Because number one, he's black. Anything that is black is demonish. Is devilish. That is the educational system that has injected this theory and psychology that's been passed from one generation to another generation. And we've embodied in our head that we can't even literally just put ourselves away from it for a second. That's why a country who's seen as second most important people on the planet of this earth, after a white man, in less than 30 years, they can come back to invest their own hard-earned money, because the way they revolutionized themselves, because China did one thing that was very profound, is that they took a pause and see exactly what works and what doesn't work. Then the leadership, they structure a way to tackle those problems. They put people in the right places, and in 30 years, the country went from a small, tiny it went from a very small economy to the number one economy in the world. And this has nothing to do with Buddhism or nothing like that. Why? Are they aliens? They are not aliens. They are people like you and I. But an African will rather believe in Muhammad, because Muhammad said this in Surah blah 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 blah, and Jesus, a Christian too. Oh, in the book of Revelation chapter 51 verse 41, in the books of escalation, you will see them. We believe so much in religion that we can't even understand the concept of what modern technology or what modern science is, because in most places they're going to call it, wizardry. And when people like me talk, you tell me that, you're just one of those idiots that podcasters, you just say a lot of nonsense because you're looking for clicks and views, but you can't critically think. I'm telling you to think, because the number one thing that I've seen quite from close proximity is that when I talk to every other part of these people in the world, is that number one thing is that they're very surprised the way I talk, number one. And they're surprised that I can articulate myself, which means subconsciously they've grew up all their life thinking I'm black means I'm fucking stupid. Let me say it again. They might not tell you outright, but this is their subconscious belief. This is how they've been raised all their life, that when they see anything that is black, it's fundamentally at the back of their mind that is bad, or it's not good, or the quality is not good. Everything black doesn't come with good quality. Let me just quickly read the comment section. Someone said, "See Sudan darker skin today," and it's kind of I'm just going to read more about books. China is not number one economy in the world. You see, that is another misconception. I do love the engagement. I engage with you guys. You see, tell me, which economy do you think is number one economy in the world? Because most people will say America is the number one economy in the world. I will call that
a bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
If you haven't seen some of the series that I've done for the last few days, go to my YouTube channel, go to the live section. I post videos there almost every day now. Check it there. I did a one I showed you about how much money America really holds. Because in simple text, and this is why I say, please, when you listen to me, don't come with your fucking PhD mindset. I want you to think like a stupid man, or I want you to think like a stupid woman. Simplify every complex nonsense you've ever read on social media, or whatever they've ever told you. How can you be in $107 trillion in debt and you tell the rest of the world that you are number one economy in the world? Does that even make sense? How can you run an economy in negative and you say that you are rich? How can you owe a bank 100 and something billion trillions of dollars and you are saying that you're rich, while another economy who is running in positive, you say that they're not the number one economy? And this is what I'm talking about. Intelligence sometimes, it's not freaking plaque on your wall. Intelligence is common sense. And for some reason, a lot of people believe so much in textbook than actually for them to critically think. I'll say it again one more time. Critical thinking skills is the number one form of education. It is not fucking what you read in your book. Because if you can't even question the thing that you read sometimes, so which means that I can just tell you that I have a textbook that has the best truth in the world, and you will read it, you will believe every text in that book. So which means that I have literally just manipulated you to stop you from using your critical thinking skills, which comes natural to you. But you will listen to some podcasters who is giving you a very different overview of how you see things, but you're going to challenge me, telling me that America is the number one economy in the world. No, they are not the number one economy in the world. And if you believe they are the number one economy in the world, please put it there and let me know why you think America is the number one economy in the world. Let's go back to the conversation that we're having, because this is part of the mindset that I talk about. The constant mindset that a lot of people have. They can't critically think for themselves. It's like some people are just completely immune for them to be able to process things themselves without somebody force feeding you, jamming nonsense into your thought. And that is what religion has done to a lot of Africans. I can literally tell you, I will categorically tell you right now, over 50% of Africans believe more in faith and spirit than actually believe in what we call structure. 50% of Africans believe in Muhammad and Jesus. Way more than 50%, but I'm just saying on average. A continent that has over 1.2 or 3 billion people, 50% of them believe in spirit more than they believe in structure. More they believe in coming together and building things together. 50% of people believe in borders so much because it's not only that it's physically drawn on the map or line up among the borders, but subconsciously in the mindset is completely cooked. 50% of the entire population of Africans see our differences as a barrier. I've shared this many times. One of the great things that I picked on from what China did was that China looked every year I did a live stream here, we did a calculation. Over 10 million people graduate from universities in China every day. You know, one of the things the government did, they put up a campaign. Anytime they want to do something, they put on an open ballot. Out of that 10 million people, you say, okay, we want to build a road, a 10-kilometer road. If you finish if you graduated with engineering, all the engineering students that graduated, design a concept for us to build this road from here to there and let us know how much it's going to cost us. Out of that 10 million people, you want to tell me they can't find some of the best mind people? Or if those 10 million people combine their minds together to build a road, you think they're not going to do it? Do you think they need some firm from Germany, or they need some firm from Canada, or they need some firm from Australia to build it for them? Imagine what 10 million people can come together and build together. Do you know what that is? But Africa, we have over 1 billion people there, and we can't put our brains together to understand the benefit that comes with when we all combine our knowledge together. We don't see, because you're from Somali, you're from Ethiopia, you're from South Africa, you're from Uganda, you're from Liberia. We constantly focus so much on our differences that we don't even freaking try to open our mind to understand that fucking differences, it's what should bring us together. The differences is the key. The differences is not going to say just because you don't believe in Jesus and you don't believe in Muhammad, so automatically straight away we're not going to work together. What kind of oxymoronic mindset is that? Look at this. Let me break another thing down. Just think about this for a second. You have a different way you make your food in Somaliland. I have a way we make our food in Nigeria. So has Chad, so has Niger, so has all these other part of the world, all part of Africa. Imagine, I cook my best dish. You cook your best dish. They cook their best dish. We'll put it on the table. Now we have variation of the same dish, but different spices. Different way of cooking. That is what knowledge is. Africans, we can't open our fucking mind to comprehend this. And this is why the colonized society in Africa, which is all the African government combined put together, it's only Ethiopia that can categorically say that, oh, no, we're never really colonized. But every major government department you find in Africa is ruled and run by the Western and colonized system of government. It's the architect. It was the foundation. Angola is a country that was colonized by Portugal. Angola is one of those countries to today. Angola is still trying to get off the ground. South Africa, they're still there to today. They never left. South Africans, they are still colonized till today. They never left. That is why the country is fucking dysfunction. Nigeria is the same. The giant of Africa. Nigeria is the same. The British never left. Nigerian constitution was written and created and is still run with the basic foundation of the British colonized empire. That is a fact. That is why it's only in Lagos, only in Nigeria, that you have more churches than you have registered businesses. People spend more time going to the church than actually going and learn new trade and learn new skills. Invest in knowledge, not invest in spirit. Because the spirit is not going to freaking put the food on the table. Your knowledge will give you the skills for you to go and share that skills with people who need your services. But Africans, for some reason, our mentality to comprehend the concept of what religion is doing to us and what we are doing to ourselves, we can't do it. We will blame everything around us, but for us to look inward first. I know one of the pushback is that, let me take off my glasses so you can see my face. I don't hide. All right. You see, one of the excuses that I get quite often is that colonization. Yes. Because I'm going to continue the video in a second. You see, colonization is something that is so deep, it's so painful. And this is why I use China as a reference. Ladies and gentlemen, go and check the data. You think China wasn't tampered with by Japan? You think Japan didn't stick it into China? You think Japan can dare threaten China today? You think so? They cannot. Because China will wipe them off the floor. So what's changed is when China look inward and start figuring a way for them to improve themselves. And one of the things that I think was even significantly much more better was when they fully comprehend the concept of leadership and passing structural changes from one generation to the other. From one generation to the other. That is what they did. The people who originated, who started this, who orchestrated the new China that we have today, they're not even alive. But guess what? The foundation was so unique that the next person come on board, understand the pain of the past so that they don't repeat the pain of the past, and structure changes to make sure that moving forward, it is not perfect, but we're going to keep working on it till we get us where we need to be. So that there is no any other country on the planet of this earth to dare fuck with China. I dare America today to go and mess up with China. I dare American government, go and mess with China. Go on. Australian government here, go and mess with China and see what is going to happen. You see, until we start getting this into our dumb nut head as Africans, we will still keep getting colonized every fucking day. Nobody is coming to help us. Muhammad is not coming from the sky. Jesus Christ is not coming from the ground. You know who's going to help us? Me and you. Let me read what's there. I checked the data. It said that you were wrong. You don't believe. Some idiots. Some people pardon twice. Trump pardoned people who stole more from Medicare. Oh, that's exactly what. And Trump is a Christian man, isn't he? Huh? You understand? Trump was a Christian man, right? Trump never did anything wrong. Trump is a unique man. I don't want to go to America today. Today is not American conversation. Today is African. All right? I speak passionately. All right? I have no hatred in me. But the thing is that is when I say it again one more time. If you're an African, get to see this video. Please, I'm begging you. One of the things that started making me look at things differently was that I asked myself one simple question. It's the most simplest question most Africans have never asked themselves. What if every knowledge, every belief system we've ever had, what if the architect of those beliefs and those systems doesn't benefit me? What if the orchestrator of those ideology and those beliefs, what if it's something to do to destroy me? At the same time, and I have no any other choice but for me to think for myself. What if those architect was a lie? I'm ready to say we mess with China now. They are buying our land. Oh, that's what's happening right there. And that's another thing again. Shout out to China. This is not to make it political or anything, but it's just for people to have critical thinking skills. Critical thinking skills should be something that need to be studied in the universities, but they're not going to put there because critical thinking skills is going to disrupt the system. So anything that's going to disrupt the system, they're not going to let it happen. Let's continue.
Islam is the religion that violently invaded Africa, not Christianity. Christianity has been on the African continent since 1 AD. Islam came to the African continent through trade, discussion, and military conquest. And it's important that we make that clear because there are still people that genuinely believe that Christianity was mainly spread through colonization. And while Christianity was also spread in the colonial era by missionaries, it first appears in Africa in 1 AD, starting in North Africa as well as East Africa in Ethiopia specifically. Ethiopia has one of the oldest churches in the world. I'm tired of hearing you guys talk about the fact that Christianity is the white man's religion because you are misinformed while completely ignoring the forceful invasion of Islam in Arab colonization and the Arab slave trade that lasted far longer than the European transatlantic slave trade. And you guys know I love receipts, so here you go, okay? Islam first came to Africa with Muslim refugees fleeing persecution in the Arab Peninsula. This was followed by a military invasion some 7 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. Again, this article says that Islam was spread through trade routes, intellectual debate, and military conquest. Christianity, on the other hand, has been in Africa long before white people ever arrived and long before missionaries ever arrived. And for context, the transatlantic slave trade and colonization took place between the 15th and 20th centuries. Okay. Christianity has been in Africa since the 1st to the 4th century. Christian communities in North Africa were amongst the earliest in the world, and they were later displaced in the 7th century by Islam. So the people in North Africa used to be Christians before they were displaced by Islam, as we know, through military conquest and other ways. And like I said, as it relates to sub-Saharan Africa in the 4th century, the Ethiopian king declared Christianity the kingdom's official religion. Now, the history of the Ethiopian church is very interesting because according to their own traditions, Christianity was first spread in Ethiopia through evangelism by Apostle Matthew and through an Ethiopian eunuch who was first converted. And it's interesting because that story of the eunuch is literally in the book of Acts, chapter 8. And this is that account of the Ethiopian eunuch. If you want to go read it for yourself in Acts chapter 8, it's very interesting and I highly, highly recommend. Islam is the real colonial religion, not Christianity.
All right, I want to pause it for a second. Like I said, is that I don't agree with that because the reason why I don't agree with that, it's not like everything that she said, is that it's the conclusion of all these things because the bottom line is that the impact that both Islam, because I've shared the same text that she shared. I've discussed about this on my live stream here. I said, when you look back at what Islam has really done to Africa, I don't think it gets spoken quite a lot. We talk more about the colonial because of the Mr. Peach came with the Bible and came with those rope. He wasn't winning any draws. Pause. No diddy. You understand? Mr. Peach came and gave you the Bible and tell you that this is the God. And you should don't touch the uranium on your soil. Don't touch the oil. No, it's good, it's bad for you. But just know that Jesus is in heaven. He's waiting for you. Just pray. Look at the sky every day. Jesus is going to come and open the door for you. And you take all your problems away. What do you need the riches of this world for? When I can give you tablets that's going to help you cure malaria, even though you have old knowledge about how to combine mango leaf and all sorts of things to help you cure malaria. You see, it's one of those things that until when you start using your critical thinking skills, it's gonna help you a lot. Okay. Now, the things that she said that was correct was that yes, Arab were the first people that came. They invaded Africa. So your Islam today, Allahu Akbar that you shout every time, that belief system, it wasn't in your land before. It was a foreign religion that came. Because they came there, they came there the same way a white man came there again, another 1,000 something years later. Because I know when we talk about colonialism, we talk so much about what the white man did. But another version of men came to Africa too. Because that's the thing again, when it comes to how the world has been, like I said yesterday, for the last 2,000 years, it's still the same method. They just have different variation, but the same concept. See, I want something that I think I need from you. And the way I'm going to get it is that, is either I come there with a knife, with a gun, or I come there to trade with you. And when I trade with you, so which means that I have to agree to the terms that you said. But if I know that I want to get it and I don't want to pay the right amount of price, I don't want to be fair with the deal, I'm going to come by looking for leverage. And what gives me the best leverage is when I can come with guns or with knife. Right there, it gives me leverage. Now I can forcefully take it from you. Because now you don't want to play ball, I'll enslave you for the next 1,300 years. Then the white man sees that, so Arab did this. Because if you check how history works is that, see, a war has always been the part of the thing that they do as a white man. White men, they've been killing each other for years. Go and check the British and what they do to Scotland. See what they do to Ireland. See what they do to Wales. The people who live in, they're literally on the same border. See what they've been doing. France and England have been fighting forever. They always fight forever. There's been a lot of documentaries about it. There's been a lot of movies and TV series about it. This has always been the history of the world. It's been war for over 2,000 years because they go look for resources where they can't do business in good faith. That is why it's trickled down even to the business structure, how business has been structured to today. Every educational system that you have is not, you're not doing any deal in fairness. You're doing a deal based on how much leverage you have. Let me say it again. Every business deal in this world is not from a place of fairness. It's based on leverage. And this is the architect of how the world has been. That is why there's so much hostility everywhere else in the world. Literally. Because the foundation for the last 2,000 years have been through taking things by force and justify it with the books, with the religion, with the ideology. The modern society today is structured from hostility. It's not from a place of fairness. It's from a place of leverage. How much leverage I can extract for me to pay penny to a dollar so I can sell it back to you at 2 or 3 times the price of what I bought it from you from. That is how the world has worked for 2,000 years. And the people who have the highest resources in this world, they are the most vulnerable because they don't have no reason for them to go and invest in nuclear weapon. They don't have to invest in bombs. They don't have to invest. Unfortunately, stealing shit is a job that's not for honest one. And that's the thing. Listen, a lot of people, you see, when we start looking at things critically, it's like it's not rocket science. This is why you say in the we live in a modern time, it's we're very educated now, the world has evolved. The world hasn't fucking evolved. It's still the same old playbook. The same old playbook is still runs till today. For 2,000 years, the world has always extract everything from each other from the place of hostility. Because the world function based on leverage, not in fairness. I will find every way that I can do to get whatever I want to get. And I'm willing to bend the rules. However, I need to bend the rules to get whatever that I need. And I would justify it by every religious context, every belief system that I can know all that works. That is why we can see things happen to Palestine. Nobody can see anything. We've seen things happen to Iranians. We can't see anything. If things happen in Ukraine, we can't see anything. We will justify it because of the belief system that we have in this world. Someone says same old tricks, and I believe this is true. Yeah. So, and it shows you why the world lacks empathy. It shows why the world lacks any quorum of fairness and love. It's hostility every day because everybody's looking for an edge. Everybody's looking for an angle. Because if you want to sell a piece of land for me and I want to sell it to you at $70 and you only want to pay $25, and I say, well, if you don't have $70, I'm not going to sell the land to you. Then you say, you know what? Let me go find something about this guy, man. I need to buy this land at $30 because you're not only just buying the land from me from $70. You know that my land can grow tomatoes much more better. So if you buy the land at $35, you will start a farm. Then you build the farm. Then you now sell me the potato, the tomatoes that came from my land. You sell it back to me at $5 for the next 20 years. So not only that, I'm giving the land for you for free, but now I'm going to pay you again. I'm going to pay you with my own money, with the money that you paid me. Someone said human lacks empathy, not the world. Yes, but the thing is that we are the world. It's not just the land. We are the world. We are the world. I did a topic about this a few days ago. It's there in my live stream. Empathy. This is why I talk that for me, I will start with me as a man, and I'm going to share with other men. Ask yourself, because this is why I said everything about this religion is so very inherently, it's injected into people's psychology. Okay? This is a question I asked a few days ago. See, put the Bible aside. Put the Quran aside. Put your textbook aside. Put every religion's concept you have aside. Ask yourself, if you're watching me right now, do you think you are a good man? Do you think you are a good woman? You don't need the Bible. You don't need the Quran. You don't need the textbook. You don't need any of these things. Just ask yourself a realistic question. Do you think you are a good man? You understand? Someone said, Wolf's fault is that you don't know the value of your land. You see? Justification right there. And that's what I'm saying. A justification right there. So because you know the value of the land, so which means that you need to exploit me to get the for you to get the land. Justification. All right, and this is the thing that is being injected into a subconscious and a psychology of a lot of people. This is why the world will never know no peace until we come to the table. Because the thing is that I know there's been a lot of videos I see on social media. There's been a lot of guys crashing out. Oh, the whites, they're changing the whites, they're replacing the whites. No, you are replacing yourself. Because, like I said before, this is called the sins of the father. It goes from one generation to the other. It gets passed along. And one generation is not 10 years, it's not 100 years. Sometimes it's 1,000 years. Because if you go back in history of how the world has functioned for the last 2,000 years, it's always been divide and conquer. You understand? Divide the people. Because once I conquer them, I'll conquer their land, I'll conquer the people, I'll conquer their resources. Someone said it's not just justification, but a lack of accountability. The way to lay your bed. Like I said again. You see, when you have good morality, and when you have empathy, your mindset wouldn't be just because you have an edge in terms of you know what a land is. Does that mean you should take advantage of the people that owns the land? Yeah? That is exactly what I'm saying. The justification for doing something wrong, it's so embedded in people's subconscious that they can't look behind it. Because, like I said, one of the things that I teach is called the mirror effect. Put the mirror. Put yourself in the space of the person you're trying to exploit. Put yourself in the position of the person you're going to justify why you think because you have more knowledge than this other person. It's now a license for you to exploit them. That is the system of education. And the old system of belief has been wrapped around it. If you don't know how to do this shit, well, bad luck. What do you want me to do? I know it, so it's bad luck. Bad luck doesn't mean because I know something I need to exploit you because I know something you don't know. But instead of me to come to the table and do business with you in integrity and in fairness, so that our relationship can last longer. Because one day you don't wake up after 200-300 years, you realize that, hold on a second, you've been screwing me all this time. Now, when I realize that you've been screwing me all this time, now I tell you that I don't even want to see you on the ground. I don't even want to discuss with you. Now I'm a bad person? Huh? Audience? You've been screwing me for over 200-300 years. Now I realize that you've been screwing me all this time. Now I don't want to do business with you. Now I don't even want to listen to you. Now I don't even want you to breathe around me, because you've been exploiting me for over 2,000 years. Now I'm a bad person because I don't believe you no more. Now, do the mirror effect. How would you feel if you were me? You see, that is a part of humanity that the Western society does not understand. They can't even fathom it. They can't comprehend it, because you grew up all your life. This is what you've always known. And wonder why there is so much hostility in this world. Let's move on. Let's get back to the old topic, because this is one of those things that when Africans start looking at themselves differently, they will really understand the sort of strength that you have. So, Mr. Peach, you could be white. I don't give a shit what part of the world you're from. But let me just let you know, I don't hate you. Because you know how crazy it is? I need you in this world. You need me in this world. You understand? We need ourselves as much as we think we do. So until you put a pause on your psychology, you will never understand it. Let me quickly do one more thing. Fun junk. How much responsibility do you put on Africa? Africa is a very big place. And what do you mean that people or the government are both? It's a layered question for me to consider. So, good question. I do like the question. We need you, and also, see, it's a good question, because the thing is that it starts with every individual that is watching this right now. Like I said, it's for us to really flip things aside, or for us to flip things over, for us to start a new trend. Because number one, it's the mindset first we need to change, because the mindset is going to control how you feel. Then it's going to reflect, it's going to radiate how you treat people. Mindset, inside, outside. Because the thing is that you cannot give what you don't have. I say it again, you cannot give what you don't have. And what you have starts here. It's your belief system. Once you can alter your belief system, it's going to reflect how you think and how you feel about people. Then it's going to project it out. We start here first. So number one is that, now, like I said, this conversation is not to antagonize Christianity. It's not to antagonize Muslim or Islam. No. It's for us to see, after over 2,000 years of oppression by the Arabs, by the colonized Western ideologies, what has religion, in terms of how we believe it so much, what has it done for us? What benefit have we taken from this? This is why I like it when President Kagame did something. Listen to this, for people who don't know, and I'll tell you why this is very significant. There is one particular country in this world that I'm expecting to do this. Listen.
President of Rwanda has now closed over 8,000 churches. It says 6,000 here. It's up to 8,000 churches. Rwanda now requires that faith-based organizations register. They have to meet health, safety, and hygiene standards. They also have to meet leadership credential requirements, which means you have to have a degree in religious studies or theology to be the representative of that church. You also have to have a certificate in religious studies, and you have to do 1,200 hours of religious training and registration fees. You also have to have full financial disclosure and minimum local support. 13,000 worship sites were inspected. 8,000 of those 13,000 were closed because they didn't meet these requirements. Now, the response to this has been mixed. It is considered a public good for things like basic safety and also consumer protection when talking about religion and how that can reduce exploitation. But the concern is that if Rwanda doesn't offer accessible pathways to open up churches, then does the policy just mean rich churches only or state-approved churches only? And so is this really protecting the people, or is this just heavy gatekeeping, which means more state control over religion? Now, for me personally, I'm kind of withholding my opinion until we get some data. We don't really have any data on this. We're waiting for a public independent evaluation to show that these closures really did lead to measurable improvements, like fewer building disasters, specifically reduced fraud, improved public order, better mental health outcomes. But we don't have that data yet, so we're watching this to see how it goes for them. Because on the one hand, if you think about America, if this was tried in America, on the one hand, yes, you could reduce some fraud. But on the other hand, do you really want who's in power right now to be deciding who can open a church? Because that would also be very problematic too.
Do you know how I...
So quickly, I just want to respond to one of the viewers said there's quite a fair bit. So please don't mind. You can put in your comment there. I'll read it if it resonates what I'm talking about, and I'll share with it. And and one other thing is that please, I want you to guys don't forget to subscribe, comment, share the live stream. Yeah, I have grown up conversation. All right, this is not about white, black, brown. It's just for me, I'm all about humanity. All right, that's what my content is for. So I do welcome the people that disagree with me, because I don't, in Yoruba we say something, you don't throw the chat and the bathwater out together. You understand? And this is where, especially those who disagree with me, I do welcome it, but just be respectful. Don't be racial. Don't use the N-word. Don't do all those things. Then I'm going to crash out on you. I don't take that kind of disrespect at all. Let's be civil about it. Let's have discussion. Let's be grown up to have conversation. We can see things from different point of view. I'll welcome it. If I have a belief system that you don't agree with, use your God-given critical thinking skills to let me understand where you're coming from. That is how you're going to change, or you're going to help me see things from a different perspective. It is not about just disagreeing with people. It's about understanding where you're coming from. If you resonate with me, you best believe it. I am going to think twice. You know what? You're actually not wrong. And that is how we're going to see things from different point of view. All right. I'm not hating. I'm not anything. I welcome it. So please put your section there. And you can see there on the right here. No, right there. You see that? There's a thing. Tip help sponsor the show so that we can do this a little bit more. I actually want to bring some other guys who have complete opposite idea of they don't even agree with me about a lot of things. But I think this is one of those things we can engage and can have real good dialogue. And if you have any other topic that you want me to discuss that you think is off band, bring it on. I'll bring it on. We'll have a talk about it. Someone say, I'm an American citizen, and yeah, religions are protected by the Constitution. But I do think what you shared about the churches is something I agree with. Absolutely. Say yes. You can argue that Europeans are being exploited today by their own government because of corruption. And that's the thing. Like I said, you see, and this, I want to say this again one more time so people don't misunderstand my intention behind this conversation. All right? I'll say again one more time. This conversation is not to throw a divide to say that Christian is bad or Islam is bad. No, it's for us to truly look at things overview, like what have we gotten so far with the belief systems? Because what have they done? Because if I tell you I'm a pastor, I preach all good, I tell you you go to heaven, you did, but every day you find out that there's a lot of fresh panties that get out of my office every day. But you believe, but you like, pastor, yeah, I believe in you, but how come there's all kind of fresh nyash, fresh women coming out of your office every day? Because in the Bible you say you shouldn't be fornicating, but there's seems a lot of fresh nyash. Then you're gonna, like, you have a belief system, you be thinking like, yeah, pastor, but sooner or later you're gonna start losing belief in me because you think what I'm saying and what I'm doing does not reflect the preaching that I'm giving out. And it's not just in Christian, in Islam it's the same thing too. You understand? And this is some of the things whereby I said, put your Bible aside. Put your Quran aside. I want you to use something that is given to you naturally. It's called critical thinking skill, aka your common sense. If there's anything that I'm grateful for in this world, it's called I have PhD. I have master's degree in common sense. Lastly, last one. No one here is being rude. It's actually a breath of fresh air. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Quickly, I just want to read one more thing. Say, if we have a value system and we have well-meaning political allies, people will be forced to act likely advance in our lives for common goal. Absolutely. And I agree on you on that one. Absolutely. But the thing is that how can we have a good value system when one has a different interior motive about it? And the people who are translating the scriptures, the books, the teachers, they have profound responsibility in their hand. This is why what the government in Uganda did, I do agree with. Before you say you're a pastor, you need to demonstrate that you're going to be a good pastor. And your message, you need to reflect who you are. Not just your message, your actions. The things that you do need to reflect who you are. Because, ladies and gentlemen, for people who don't know, I'm a born Nigerian. All right? Not born again, not born before. I was born in the land. And I can categorically tell you, there are more churches in Nigeria than businesses in Nigeria. There are more churches in Nigeria than businesses. People spend more time going to church rather than earning a living. People go to church rather than spending time investing into trade, businesses, seeing what the other side of the world wants from them. People spend more church on Sundays. From Monday to Sunday, people in Nigeria spend more time going to church than going to work. Let that sink into your head. Imagine in America. You understand? Imagine in America that people spend more time going to church than building infrastructure. Lastly said, religion has nothing to do with our cultural system. I think we are experiencing a decay, and religion has nothing to do with it. I can give you insurance for Nigerian if you care. I have to give instances. My brother, I'm a Nigerian myself. So what do you want to tell me that I don't know already? But give your point of view. I'll read it if it resonates. All right, let's move on. Before this guy, see, this is when we start breaking all these false stereotypes that we've had all our lives. All right. And and the next couple of videos, and the one I'm going to play, because I'm going to play from the version of an a Muslim man, because I can tell from his video he's a Muslim man. And I do want to see where it come from. I haven't listened to it yet, but let's continue.
Like, I was brainwashed in a sense as I started to deconstruct. How do I know more about the lineage of Christ and Christianity than my own ancestors?
Because, ladies and gentlemen, this brother just asked a profound question. Some people know more about the history of the Western society. They have zero knowledge about African history. Zero. None. Because they've never really had. Because everything we've ever read and we've ever known is always telling us that everything about black history is bad. It's horrible. It's not even enforced in the high school, in the primary school. But if you go to China, they teach them everything. Everything. They teach them everything. They know everything. But in Africa, no. We need to listen to what Mr. England said. What Mr. England say, and what Mr. France say, and what Mr. Germany says, Mr. Portugal say, Mr. Holland says. Everything all these people say, we know that to a T, but we don't know nothing about African history. Nothing. Because, like I told you, the best way for you to manipulate people is not for me to tell you to do something. No. I need to give you a reason in your head why the thing that you believe in is not good. I need to give you a new one. Once I can tap into your brain, then the rest is easy. And that is what they've done. A lot of young black and women, they've never even interested. You got to understand something. You grow your life, who you are, your identity as an individual. You've never really get to know you. You've never really get to know you as a man, as a woman. The only thing you've ever known all your life has been something you've been, I want to use the word force. You've been mandated to know. You know the things that you've been mandated to know, but you don't know you. And that is why a lot of people can't find themselves. They don't know themselves. Because the real you is not the one that you've grew up to know all your life. The real you is one that has nothing to do with the things that you even learn. So you need to deconstruct yourself to learn yourself again. That's why a lot of people they don't know who they are. They can't even find themselves. They don't even understand the comprehension of who I am. Someone said again, said, I don't think African history was bad. There's not much written down across the different tribes. A lot of modern African states were colonized. Correct. Africans are some of my favorite Americans. They appreciate more. You see, that's the thing though. Like we, across time, this is part of the how I said the system works. Okay, because 2,000 years ago, the mentality and the ideology of getting something that I want for me is their excuse then will be based on survival. Okay, it's the conquer. You go conquer the land. You know, kill them, take their sons, their daughters, their wife, take their land. Now I'm the new chief in town. Now, hey, I don't like the way you dress. You dress like a bushman. No, you need to dress. I am civilized because, like I said, it's the same concept. It hasn't changed. I spoke yesterday. If you haven't watched it, go and watch the video I posted yesterday about Governor Newsom. He said the system is broken because the architect of the system of the world in the last 2,000 years have been from a place of exploitation. It's been exploitative. Because, look, ask yourself a simple question. Your banking that we have today was designed from the same concept. I'm not talking about just do research like people say. Go and compare information. It will let you see it. The architect of the banking structure was designed from a place of exploitation. Why? Banking started because so and so, according to the history that they wrote in their textbooks, a particular king wanted to go to war and he didn't have money to fund. He didn't have money to fund the war. Then he went to the richest people within his community. Hey, listen, I need to go and fight these people. And I didn't have money. So I need you to gather money together. I owe you. I owe you. I owe you. But I'm not going to pay you what I owe you. I'll pay you in interest. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the architect and foundation of modern banking. If you think I'm lying, go and research it. If you think I'm lying, go and information compare it. You can't compare it. That is how. So the architect, you got to understand something now. See, English language, to deconstruct the way we see things, we need to understand the reason why those things originated in the first place. We need to peel the layer. It's not to look at it. Oh, it was bad. Oh, yeah. No. It didn't happen to you. But understand the foundation, what really bred this thing into life. So which means is that banking was not created because this particular king wanted to go and buy merchandise. He didn't want to go and buy spices. He didn't want to go and buy a timber of trees. He didn't want to go and buy painting. The architect of how banking started today, ladies and gentlemen, was because a particular king wanted to go to a war. Allah 2026, we're still discussing it. There's more money invested into war today because the architect, the foundation of banking was from war. The foundation of modern banking was because of a particular king wanted. Oh shit, you can't make this shit up. If you think I'm lying, go and check it. The foundation of modern banking was because a king wanted to go to a war and he didn't have the resources. If the foundation of banking was because the king wanted to go and buy more fertilizers, and they say, hey, we don't have enough money for fertilizer, and we need to build, we need to grow some crops, and I need more money from you so I can go get some fertilizer, then I'll pay you in interest. So which means the foundational principle of how we look at how we're going to build wealth is not going to be from a place of destruction. It's not going to be from the place of I need to find a way to exploit you, because if I go to war, you understand? If I go to war and it's better because I can leverage it. That is the foundation of this world. Some say time past our building phases. We have environmental sanitation and amplified communal living by collaboration to engineer consciousness to projects that what we all build our elders destroyed it. You see, that is why I said this is why someone like me come on social media to start talking about these things, because I have a different perspective. I will make you think about the things you don't want to think about. The truth is that, you see, a lot of the things that was done before I ever came into life, those things function, but there was no handover. For instance, ladies and gentlemen, because this is, talking very Pan-African today, is that then the system whereby you allow the new one to join the old ones, so the old ones can pass up that knowledge to the younger ones, so the younger ones will do the same thing for the next generation. It doesn't exist anymore in leadership in Africa. Some of this leadership, they've been there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Africa in general has the oldest leadership in the entire fucking world. One particularly in Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, for you don't know, President Biya of Cameroon is older than United Nations. If you think I'm lying, go and check it. I don't see anyone arguing with you there. Peace not profitable. You see, that's the thing. And that is why I said, please, I want us to truly understand why this thing has been affecting us for a very long time. President Biya is older than United Nations. Yes, that man is 90-something years old, and he just won a re-election. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I am not a Cameroonian, but I have a lot of Cameroonian friends. Do you know Cameroon? Cameroon alone can feed entire Africa, because they have one of the best soils on the planet of this earth. Cameroon alone can feed the entire Africa if we have an environment whereby we can actually build things that works. Just think about it for a second. Cameroon alone can feed entire Africa. I'm going to show you some other videos after this to let you guys understand how this is. This is why I said, until when we start deconstructing a lot of our ideology, our perception about how we see things, we're really going to know how we can actually start working together. Because one of the things that I know for a fact, Africans, we can't wait. Will we find 5,000 trillion reasons why something is not going to work? Ladies and gentlemen, we will find 5,000 reasons why we would never do business together. We will confirm why it's not going to work more than why we should give it a try. You understand? We will give 5,000 reasons why something is not going to work more than why we should give it a try. Then we will blame it that, because we're different. That different is actually should be the architect of what brings us together, because you can see the same problem that I see, but you have a different solution to the problem. So if we're both smart enough, we understand that you have a different angle, have a different angle. So in between that way, we can come with a solution that favors both of us. See, common sense. It doesn't require any PhD. I say, you're right, our structure collapsed, and you look ourselves in the face, and there's no standard 15, 20, 30, 40 years alive. Yes, it's another biggest issue that Africa has. Fatherism. Godfatherism is another fucking problem Africa has. Why? Because these bastards, they are fucking dinosaurs. They've been there forever. For you to be a governor, a president, a prime minister, you need to go kiss the ring of the underground bosses. The ones that you never see their face on the newspapers. You don't even know they exist, but you're there. You don't become nothing in Africa until you go and kiss the ring. Why is that such a structure whereby for generation and generation, we are still in the same situation we were, even before when we got independence? Then, every time people want to have a voice, Jesus, Muhammad. See, why do you chase the riches of this world when you can expect the riches to wait for you in heaven? Why should you chase the riches of this world where there is no benefit? Why? Because God will look after. Don't worry, my son. God is there to help you, my son. God is there to help you. Let's move on.
Like, am I bugging or something? Like, to think that I knew so much about the death of a man 2,000 years ago, and not even my own great grandfather.
Fact.
Maybe people who were possibly slaves, like how they survived. To think that I was so emotional about the death of a man 2,000 years ago who probably wouldn't give two flying helps about me and didn't know me, yet my great grandparents who were possibly slaves, and me possibly, or even any of us being descendants of slaves, and not knowing jack all about it. And this is how you know colonialism has done a number on us.
Please watch this.
And that's the thing, and it's a freaking valid question. Greetings from South Africa. Interesting topic. Religion is a plague on us. It's divided us, and absolutely, my brother, man, absolutely. And this conversation, like I say again, this is not to throw a divide that Christianity is bad or Islam is bad. It's we understand. You see, shout out to my South African brothers and sisters, the good ones, because you guys have been really funny lately, and I know it's not all of you. Thank God the cat is out of the bag now. We know the architect of what started this was xenophobia nonsense in South Africa, but let's move forward. Because for me, I'm all about unification. You see, the thing is that one of the truth that I've come to accept is that I will never, I won't be alive when, give me a second. I won't be alive in this life for me to see the fruit of the labor of what I do now. All of these, because everything on internet stays forever. And one of the things our generation that we don't want to do is that we don't want to rattle the cage, because if you rattle the cage, oh, what can you do? You cannot change anything. Oh, these African leaders, they're shit, they're bad. The people who come before you, they did the same thing. Nothing happened, nothing changed. That's why you're going to keep where you are, because you think that your voice is not powerful enough. But that is the mistake that you have. Because let me give you a classic case. Do you remember a couple of months ago in, I think it's in Nepal? Nepal elected, give me a second. Nepal elected the prime minister on the app Discord. If you think I'm lying, go and research it. Nepal is by the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs say, hell no. We are done with your shenanigans. Huh? You understand? We are done with the shenanigans. They elected the prime minister. You understand? They elected the prime minister from their Discord, an app. Today, that prime minister today is under I think is I don't know, it's over 40 years or so, but I can find a video to show you guys. Why? Because the youth came together and made the change. Even their own fathers and mothers couldn't do it. You understand? Even their own fathers and mothers couldn't do it. The youth, they did. That is how much power the youth have. You see, another thing again that I know that scares a lot of Africans, because you think, what can I do by myself? You understand? What can I do by myself? You understand? Africans in general, we have come to the point whereby we always think that we don't have the strength to implement or start a new change. You see, there's a lot of things I actually need to go and start learning to see how the world works. And when I really understood it, and I understand, okay, what do I need to break down first? I need to start up with anything. Number one, I can't do it alone. Every African culture, they have a saying that said, a single stick of a broom, you can snap it and it will break. A single stick of a broom, you can snap it and it will break. But when you put a bunch of brooms together, if you want to turn and snap it, it's not going to be that easy. And that's what we need to do first. Because universally as Africans, we need to come together as one voice. Because if you look at history again, I'm not a history buffer, but the ones that are very important, you best believe it, I know it. If you look at history, England and Germany, England and France, they've been fighting each other they fight every time for everything. That is how they slice Africa like pizza slice. France, you take that side. UK, you take this side. Hey, Spain, you take that side. Hey, Portugal, take Holland, you take this side. That is how they were able to do it, because they will stop fighting each other side. Then remember World War II. For my African brothers and sisters, when you can't wait to go spend your add-on money to go get this old visa, they're going to deny you. Africa was the architect of how the Western society rebuilt their world after World War II. Where do you think they get the money? You think they plant tomato at all those racket buildings? Well, how do you think they build the society that they have today? They build it from your backs. They exploit you the way they've always exploited us. We'll busy keep fighting each other because of the name of Muhammad, because of the name of Jesus. We keep fighting ourselves because, oh, you're Somalia, you're from Burkina Faso. Oh, you're not Ugandan. I cannot do it because we don't speak the same language. Like, it's so fucking stupid. But how they understood the things that we don't have. But for us to shut up our mouth to try and figure out exactly what is the value of what I have. But how can you know that when you don't even know the value of what you have in your own head? Because every textbook you've ever read, every educational system you've ever believed in it's not based on the things that serves you. It's something to keep your mind locked up in a particular ideology. Because when the map say is on the ground, why you shouldn't do anything, because you should have to stay to the borders rather than for you to cross the border and say, my Eritrean sisters, my Australian brother, what about your culture that I can learn? I want to build a bridge. How do you see the bridge? Give me your perspective how to build the bridge. I'll give you my perspective how to build the bridge. Now we both combine our resources together. We're not hostile towards each other, but we're seeing, because if we build the bridge, so for you to come and buy tomatoes from my village, it'll be much more easier for you. Now we're trading based on, but no, because the only reason why that's not going to happen, because when anytime we make a proposal, we have to do it the same way the colonized mentality system has always structured things. Remember, everything has an architect. The architect has always been from the place of exploitation. Exploit motherfucking-tation. They will exploit. The architect of modern banking, the architect of modern trust is from exploitation. It's not from a place of fairness. The architect of the modern business ideology, the way people do business, the way people buy and sell and trade, is from a place as a mindset of exploitation. Let me get 1 more percent. Let me get 1 more leverage. So it's not from a place of fairness. Please, if there's anything you're going to take from this live stream today, is that, please, I want you to think. Thinking is not fucking illegal. The architect of every business deal on the planet of this earth, it's orchestrated from a place of leverage. It's not from a place of fairness. So it means the foundation of my relationship with you is because I'm looking for the best way to get the best out of the deal, to exploit you first. Because if I sign 1 more percent on the deal is favorable to me, that is how the world runs. We hate ourselves because worldwide view in competition and gravitate us during the age of development. Yes, but the thing is that when we I agree with you, you're spot on. But the solution is that we need to actually, as much as we think we're better away from each other, that is why we actually need ourselves the more. That is why we need ourselves the more. It is not to keep us aside. Like I said again 1 more time, if there's anything you pick from this, ask yourself, why do Africans in every diaspora, away from the government, why do we struggle to do business with ourselves? Because I did this experiment. I call it the paper experiment. I put a paper down. The objective of this paper is Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Cameroon, South Africa, for us to come and do business together. Let's leave the government aside. Now, let's start. Give me the reason why it's going to work. Tell me all the benefit why it's going to work. And you see, we give some. Now, give me the reason why it's not going to work. You will find out that there will be more reason why it's not going to work more than the reason why it's going to work. Because it's been embedded in our ideology that our differences is not going to make things work. I wanted to challenge that concept. Why would you tell me that our differences will not make it work? Give me the reason why it's not going to work. Now, if once I know the reason why it's not going to work, now what can we do to tackle the reason? Now that is when we're thinking we're moving forward. Give me the reason why it's not going to work. And you get your feedback, then you start understanding why things doesn't work within us. Because it's easy to highlight there's a problem. At the same time, it's easy to understand the solution. But solution is going to require implementation. How do you implement the solution? Then that is when you're going to see each African start going their separate ways. Because that is what we do. We don't, not only that our mind has been cooked up, is that they've given us the reason for us not to believe in ourselves. I'm an economist and international relation expert, and the use of explanation in the current bilateral relationship is on a false premises. And if your tools as, oh God, there's a lot of word mumbo jumbo here. I'm not even going to deal with you just yet. But let's finish this one first. Then I'm really going to say my mind there. Let's move on.
Then be patient.
China is shown as atheist, like doesn't believe in God.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, mostly we teach us to believe karma, of course, but believe yourself. You need to use your own hand to change your life. That's why we are so like much work holy, and people work like crazy. And now you see the country is really developing, economy is growing really fast.
That's the Chinese saying, we believe in work and that's how we develop. Come with me to Africa, specifically Nigeria. That's the son of the Nigerian president who just turned 40. And to mark his 40th birthday, the grand moment, he gave 1 million Bibles. Not 1,000 jobs, not 100 microloans. 1 million Bibles. Guess who's leading the handout? The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN. The same CAN that has been in existence for 49 years. 49 years of holding crusades while the country crumbles. 49 years of prayer, fasting, and political puppetry. Yet, somehow, they still couldn't pray the country out of poverty. Couldn't pray it into electricity, couldn't pray it into food production, couldn't pray it into employment, couldn't pray it into security. But here we are, sending able-bodied youth, spending thousands of productive man-hours carrying papers across the cities, while the rest of the world is building chips, satellites, and artificial intelligence. And if each of those Bibles cost $1 per Bible, that would be $1 million that could have empowered 500 women, funded small businesses, and fed communities. But no, we're planting Bibles instead of factories, distributing scriptures while children starve. And you still think religion and politics are separate? No, they're not. They're two heads on the same beast. One tells you to wait, the other makes sure you never arrive. For 49 years, the Christian Association of Nigeria have anointed thieves, prayed over tyrants, and dedicated every single field administration to God. But not once did they produce a blueprint for sustainability. Not once did they produce an independent power solution. Not once did they broker a peace deal that disarmed the North. Not once did they take a stand against looted funds, corrupt governance, or rigged elections. They fasted while terrorists and bandits grew fat. They prophesied while women died in labor. They held vigils while cities sat in darkness. They lay hands on seats of power but never on the streets where people bleed. So tell me, what exactly have they been doing for 49 years? Because prayer without action is just silence in disguise. And if your entire national plan is prayer, fasting, and call to altar, you're not building a country, you're building a court.
Christianity brought education to Nigeria.
I want to pause it for a second, really, because it said a lot of things that I was saying too. All right. So my thing is that as you listen to this live stream, I want you, I've said again, because you see, anytime there's people who talk the way I talk, or they have a different perspective of how they see things, there's a lot of intellectuals that like to come in and they're trying to give a different perspective, which I do welcome. Like I said, I welcome it. So there is a lot of things that I said again. I want you to listen to me That's why I don't like to use a very straight up English, whatever, to sound like some of those podcasters. No, I'm an African man. And I go talk like an African person. I don't care, say, one person they say they look for. No, I will speak in an African dialect. Because the thing is that we need to start opening our mind. I said again, when you listen to me, I don't want you to come with a PhD mindset. I don't want to come as some educated scholar because you know you can text, you can write English in a different way. You have a different perception, opinion, how you see educational format or whatever it is. I could care less. I want you to listen to me just like an average man. Think, use common sense. I want you to tap in that PhD knowledge that you have in your head, which is called the common sense PhD in your head. If we're saying is that we can't do anything together, and the best way that we can come and we can overcome, we have to overcome all the aches, all the shit we've been dealing with even before we were born. And I'm telling you that for us to actually see things differently, we need to put the Bible aside, put the religion aside, put your foreign textbook aside, put every knowledge you've ever acquired aside, and let us just look at things. If you have a problem right now, if there's no Bible, if there's no Quran, if there's no any other thing, if you want to build a very healthy society, now, what is going to be your reference? If there's one particular country today that you want your country as an African to be, which country are you most likely going to choose? I want you guys to put in the comment section there. If you're a leader of a country today, if you want to be the leader of a particular country, if you want to be a leader of a country, which country would you like your country to look like, to be like? Please put it in the comment section. Let's move on. Other thing about Nigeria is that for someone, in my opinion, Nigeria is localized and emphasized in the root cause. You see, yes, you can. I don't disagree with you in terms of how Nigeria has been. You understand? Somebody said Russia. Okay, there you go. Russia, yeah. Yeah, anyone again? If you are a leader of a country today, and you no country, I will adopt government style of Switzerland. Now, someone says Switzerland. Now we're going somewhere now. Switzerland. And let me ask you though, why do you want your government to be like Switzerland? Someone said America, USA. Why? Because we can do the experiment right now, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. All right. If somebody said Russia, Switzerland, and America, anyone else again? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Anyone? If you're a leader of a country today and you want your country to, which country are you going to use as a foundation on how you're going to build your country? Which country are you going to emulate to become? I'm leader of this country. I'm looking at the model of a country, and particularly I want my country to be like. What country are you going to use as the framework on how you're going to build your country? Because right there is the root cause of everything. It's the foundation. Switzerland. Now, beside Russia, America, and Switzerland, because there are only three ones. Do you know some of the things that Switzerland has done to some of your ancestors? Chinese, someone say China or Russia today. There you go. UK when it was a Christendom time. Okay, fair enough. UK, someone say UK. There you go. We're getting somewhere. If you are a leader of a country today and you want to change your country, or you want to revolutionize a country, which country are you going to model your country with? Are you talking about all Africa or countries in Africa? Because Africa is a large place like Russia and China. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Let's start with one first. Let's start as a country. You are now the representation of your country. You are the leader of your country. If you look across the world, if there's one particular country that you want to structure and build your country as, which country are you going to choose? Please, if you get to watch this later, put it in a comment section. Let me see. Citizen rule through referendum and policy and whatever it is. Good question. I like this guy, Ledell. You seems you no, my apologies. No, it's okay. If I'll say it again, maybe I need to use a little more sophisticated English. Okay, you were given a fresh land. You were given 1,000 acres of land, and you want to start a country. And that country that you want to start, if you want to look across the world today, and you want to take a constitution, You want to design policies. You want to make your country a very healthy place. Which country are you going to model your new country as? That is a question. If you look across the board in the world today, what particular country do you want to model your new country as? Because when we start thinking that, then I want you to start looking at yourself. Any country that you choose, I want you to now go back and look at those countries. So I'm saying, I'm going to choose America for, I believe US Constitution is more brilliant. Yes, America has a corrupt, okay, there you go. So, and see, if that's the case, now I want you to let's now look at what are the things that work in any country that you choose and what are the things that is not working. Now, in that thing that is work, America is not a bad choice. Now, okay, fair enough. If America and Switzerland and whatever country that you choose, now ask yourself a different question. Check what works and what doesn't work. And check what works, what is allowing those things to work. Then look at the things that doesn't work, what is not allowing it to work. I want it to be an homework for every one of us, because next time I come on a live stream, I'm going to ask those questions and you better be here, or else I'm going to tell Trump to come and threaten you. You understand? Now we're having an understanding, because if we have to deconstruct a lot of things, and you see how I said it? As soon as I said you're a leader of a country, you guys start thinking. You start using your brain to start, which country in the world? Which country in the world? Because you can think. So that is what I want us to do. All right, let's move on. Though we're still on the conversation of a relationship, a very good question or something to think. Absolutely, it is a good question for us to think about. Because if you are a leader of a country today, for those who are going to watch this later, I want you to think, what country are you going to model your country as? Pick any country in the world. Let's move on.
CMS Grammar School. The church brought education. Many of the schools government is now collecting were started by the church.
Okay, the CMS Grammar School in Lagos was established by the Church Missionary Society, CMS, apparently, in 1859 as a missionary school. It was a primary school, and it was a part of CMS' broader missionary efforts to spread Christianity and Western education in Nigeria during the colonial period. There was no other purpose. Now, the primary purpose of the school was not to educate the already subjugated Africans to be helpful in the society or in the African society, but to spread Christianity to children so that they could start conditioning them from a very young age. Now, before you pride yourself in the establishment of CMS, let me remind you of the information you omitted while telling your followers how Christians or how Christianity brought CMS to Nigeria. Now, the bombardment of Lagos, or the reduction of Lagos by the Royal Navy, happened in late 1851, 8 years before the establishment of CMS. This destruction of Lagos and the destruction of thousands of indigenous life was done under the justification of suppressing the transatlantic slave trade and deposing the deposition of the king of Lagos, then the Obakosoko, for refusing to end slave trade. Okay? Now, see where this is going. In August 1861, Lagos was officially annexed by the British Empire as a British protectorate, less than 2 years after the establishment of CMS. Now, so tell me, how did the establishment of CMS as a Christian missionary school help the indigenous people, the real owners of the land, not to be subjugated by their colonial counterparts, with all the atrocities, unaliving, plundering, rape, maiming, and resource extractions in Nigeria? Why didn't these missionaries preach to their colonial counterparts that it's a sin to do all this? It's a sin to take life. Instead, they were preaching to us that it was a sin for us not to be obedient to our colonial masters. It was not after 99 years in 1960 that Nigeria got her smokescreen independence. Where were your missionaries and CMS during these 99 years of subjugation? It is important to fiercely guard against the simplicity and all too easy acquired feelings of superiority that we may develop when viewing the past through the lens of modern morals centuries later. Now, while I agree that Christianity brought Western education to Nigeria, It's nonetheless essential to point out the fact that these contributions have been accompanied by cultural and social changes. The missionary education came with the imposition of Western values, languages, and norms, leading to the marginalization of indigenous languages and indigenous knowledge, practices, and cultures. Or do you think that Africans were dumb before the Europeans arrived? Who taught us how to build our houses? Who taught us how to rule or govern our kingdoms? Who taught us how to document our histories in our own ways? What CMS and other missionary schools taught us and still teach us today is Western education. Now, this Western limited educational system prioritized subjects and knowledge systems based on Western perspectives and values at the expense of traditional African knowledge systems. A system of education that promotes Western values, beliefs, and lifestyle as superior to those of Africans, which eventually led to a loss of confidence and pride in indigenous cultures among Africans and resulted in cultural assimilation or the abandonment of traditional practices in favor of Western ones. And because this limited education by Christian colonial powers involved the suppression and erasure of indigenous African culture, history, and religions, right? We were taught a lot about Henry the Navigator, Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama, Amerigo Vespucci, Mungo Park, and many other European marauders instead of people like Patrice Lumumba, Ruben Umyube, Chris Hani, Thomas Sankara, Tom Mboya, Kwame Nkrumah, Samura Machel, Sekou Toure, Amika Cabral, and many more who died for you and not some Jesus who died for some Jews somewhere in the Near East. Western education introduced the ideologies that corrupted our people. Yes, our people were taught corruption by the same educational system your CMS brought. And that was the point. That was the whole point. This cultural destruction contributed to the dehumanization of Africans and the justification of their enslavement. Now, the problem with most of you so-called pastors, African pastors, mostly Nigerian pastors, is something we call the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a cognitive bias in which you lack the competence to detect your incompetence, thereby overestimating your competence and abilities and making others underestimate their abilities. That is when you stand and speak to your members as if you know it all. You claim you knew everything about Pan-Africanism, yet you are unable to stream between the lines, and you believe so much that Christianity came to save Africa. No, sir, it is you who are wrong. So guys, let me know what you think. If you have any constructive argument, please let's discuss. But if you want to drag me, if you want to come for me, please, I'm all yours. Let's discuss, okay? Let me know what you think.
Why do So thank you, and I do 1000% agree with him. So if you're watching this live stream, I want you to ask yourself a question. Okay, you need to go and study the era of the King Jakwa of Okubo. Oh God, you see, Ledell, I do appreciate today. I do appreciate the back and forth. You see, but every time there's anything, my perspective is that you keep regurgitating to keep looking at things from a different perspective. But this is why I said I want you to be able to look at things out of anything that you've learned, out of any history. Go by what we see today now in this modern world today. Go by what you see in today's modern world. And the last video I'm going to show before I get back to the other studio, I get back to the studio, is that I want this boy to say something that was quite very important. And I want you to listen to this as a Muslim, as a Christian. You believe in God, you don't believe in God, you believe in spirit, you believe in ancestors. Listen to this boy. Let him say something that I think might open your mind a little bit.
Africans still worship foreign gods. The bigger question, why are Africans still dominated by foreign gods and religions? Christianity and Islam were used to justify colonialism, keeping Africans in a submissive mentality long after colonialism ended. Many of these faiths reject modern medicine, instead clinging to faith healing, just worsening things like AIDS and HIV. Ladies and gentlemen, let us not forget that the Catholic Church condemned the use of condoms, which led to the spreading of AIDS and HIV on a scale never seen before. And lastly, Africans are taught to pray for solutions instead of actively working towards this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a trap. This is a way of controlling a person. What is the best way of keeping a prisoner imprisoned? Is to have the prisoner believe he is not a prisoner.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of back and forth. So if you literally last this long, really, if you last this long, and thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for those who subscribe. Thank you. Mucho gracias, muchos. But like I said, my conversation today is not to throw any kind of divide. It's not to make you feel like you're better or you're worse or anything like that. For me, I think it's very crucial for us to start realistically, we need to start looking at things differently. As Africans, give me a second, Jesus. As Africans, if you watch this, please share this video with other Africans. Let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation. Okay? And I want it to be between Muslims and Christians and traditional worship or whatever you believe in. I want you to constructively, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. What has religion done to us today? What is the benefit? Why do we believe so much in religion that our religion is hindering us for us to look at things from other people's perspective? What can we learn from America? What can we learn from the UK? What can we learn from China? What can we learn from Russia? What can we learn from Switzerland? What do they do better than us? If you still want to keep our religion, and like I say again one more time, this conversation is not to discourage you to believe in God or believe in Jesus. None of that. Is that what are other places that we can go to acquire more knowledge that we don't have? I'll say it again. As Africans, what are other places we can go to acquire more knowledge that we don't have? Because to be completely honest with you guys, a lot of the time I just see that some cases, Africans, we don't want to cross the border. I'm not talking about booking up a flight or getting a visa. I'm talking about knowledge. Book a flight and go acquire knowledge. The knowledge that is not just the one that you've learned or the one that you've sat on for centuries, for years, whereby you refuse to question the most obvious things that you should question, is because you need to come from a place of faith. And as long as your faith doesn't tell you so, and yet you're living in trenches, you can't afford to provide the basic necessity that you need for you to live a fulfilled life. One of the things that I observe of Africans is that we are so traumatized, we don't even know that our trauma is something that we've completely lost hope to get. Alright, back again. See, sorry, my things drops down every once in a while, so just enjoy it. Like I said, Africans, we've been so traumatized so much that we don't even know that we can get out of it. In fact, we've lost every hope, every belief system that is going to make us get out of it. This is why I said that I swear to you guys, I ain't bullshitting you. That was 2 weeks ago. I did the experiment. I was in a group of Africans. I put something on the floor. I said, give me a reason why this is going to work. and you see, I don't trust this, I don't trust that, it's not going to work, this, and I said, okay, give me a reason why it's going to work. Give me the benefit of us coming together to actually do something. Oh yeah, if we do this, it's going to be better for this. I said, if that's the case, then what is stopping us? Oh, because Africans, I said, okay, now we've identified where the problems are. Okay, now the solution that we've come up with, let's implement it. I swear to you, on every little penny that I have, everybody was living after second after the other. I said, right there is where the problem is. Africans, we are professional diagnostic machine. We can diagnose problems. Oh, hey. We are so good in diagnosing problem, it's laughable. You understand? Africans, we are so good in diagnosing problems. We can diagnose the most basic things. Our brain is so open whereby we can see things, we see patterns. But when it comes to implementation, okay, implementation, we see bro, you know, this thing, that is what we do. And one of those conversations that is extremely, what I'm talking about is extremely triggering for Africans to really want to have is conversation about Jesus, about Muhammad, about the belief system. Even if I tell you that Islam was brought to Africa by brute force. Someone said, I don't think studying in Europe will cut it because you learn all European policies in European. This transporting into different African environments is complex. Absolutely. That's it. Now, see, Libby, now we're talking now. See, now we're talking. That's it. All I'm saying is that this, and one other thing again, and I want us to do this because when we're having sort of conversation is that there's always a reflection about colonialism. You know, they come terrorize us. Yes, they did. That was thousands of years ago, and the consequence of those things that transpired, and we're still going through it today. We are still going through it till today. The consequences of action in the past, we're still going through it today. You understand? If you go to Silicon Valley, which is the tech street in America, you want to tell me there are no Africans in those places? Some of the inventions that we use in this world, but if I tell you they were made by black people that look like you, Africans that look like you, in fact, they never got credit. A lot of the inventions that we use today, ladies and gentlemen, what if I tell you the internet that you're using to look at me right now, what if I told you it was invented by a Nigerian? Would you believe it? Would you believe it? No, most people are not going to believe it. They think it's a whole lot of bullshit. Because a lot of people think internet was developed or created by a white man. Because they've created a system whereby we can't even own our intellectual. Because you're not supposed to listen to me because I don't come here bragging about how much degree I have on my wall. Because that is the only time you're going to listen to me. The only conversation that I'm having with people today is that for us to implement any kind of change, the only number one change I'm more really interested in, that I think is going to sow a lot of seed, is that it's the mindset. We need to change our mindset. That's why I put the title of today is that put the Bible down. Put the Quran down. See where the gaps are. Where can I acquire knowledge? Where can I acquire information that can improve my surrounding? Africa wants to change. It starts with you. Let's forget about the Constitution for now. Let's put about policies for now. Let's not even talk about policy. First, start here. How can we deconstruct the mentality that's been mandated for us? Because they mandated those policies because we are not informed properly, and we've built our lives based on these systems, this mentality, this ideology. It's how we build our systems. And we're going through a system that the architect of those systems was to manipulate, was to divide, was to conquer. The architect of those ideologies are based on violence. Because, ladies and gentlemen, every government on the planet of this earth holds money to someone. Then you ask yourself, who do they hold money to? There are very maybe in total maybe 4 or 5 countries on the planet of this earth do not hold a single penny. Every other country on the planet of this earth holds the bank money. Literally, the entire world is holding a bank money. Then you start asking yourself, like I said again, the architect of the structure how the world works today, the foundation of modern banking was from a king going to war. So the intention of why we need to start doing credit system exchange and all those things started because of a war. The one that Arab came to Africa about 2,000 years ago, it was because they came there because they want to extract resources, and they didn't come there to come and shake hands in good faith. They come with their guns. With their swords. They terrorize neighborhoods, they implement their way. So they tell you that you need to dress like an Arab man because that is the only way you're going to go to heaven. They tell you that you need to know the surah from A to Z. That is the only way you're going to go to heaven. The basic common sense thinking is stripped away from you and replaced with the book. Said, read this book. You understand? Read this book because this book is the truth. Your critical thinking skills is not the book. Because what the book says, you have to go by everything that the book says. But when you read the book and read the book so much that you understand the book from A to D, but your actions does not reflect the book. And when somebody trying to question you about it, you tell it that it's fate. Fate will keep Africans sit in the same situation. They don't want to learn, acquire the skills and knowledge to know the value of where they're sitting on. Underneath your mosque, underneath your church, there's a uranium under there, there's a gold under there. But you don't know because they tell you that you should focus on the book. Why the people who know the value of where you're sitting on, they will come there. They will not tell you that the Christians think their God is better than your God. Then you start fighting each other. Before you know, now you fight each other, you don't have the time to sit there anymore. Now the people who give me the reason to fight each other, they'll come there and say, since you destroyed this place, let's clean it out. Why we clean it out? There's something here. No, since we start cultivating this land, now this one is our own. They will take the resources from you. Now they will not slap you constitution. They say, go and check your policy. Because it's written in your policy that as soon as you give me this land, the land is mine now. Anything that is there now. Because I know it's your country, so to be fair, I am going to give you 25 cents to $1. Because it's written in the book. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, I've said this thing many times and I'll say it again. The number one, the most powerful object that was created in modern history. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know the most destructive thing that was created in modern history? It's not nuclear weapon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most destructive thing that was created in modern history, right here. A pen and a paper. A pen and a paper is the most destructive object we've created in the last 3,000 years. This. Because under this, you can write a lot of things there and you just need to sign. And once you sign it, regardless wherever you go on the planet of this earth, you have to honor what is in the book. Because they will tell you that you signed it in A. The people from the UK, in A, you sign it in A. Yeah, once you sign it, that is it. You have to go. Every place you go on the planet of this earth, they will hold you to this. Because when President Trump goes and Iran, when they finish all the war, then President Trump is going to jump on Cuba. And President Trump is a Christian man, innate. So the people in Cuba, they're not Christians. So some there, are they supposed to be without electricity for the last how many months? No food? Where is the Christianity? Where is humanity in that? Because the world, the architect of modern world for the last 2,000 years, that is as far as I go. I don't want to go 10,000 years. I only did all the information I can gather I didn't do research. I gather information and I decipher those information. And the deciphering of those information lets me know for the fucking 2,000 years, the world has been ruled and controlled by the same philosophy, the same ideology, the same concept. It hasn't changed. It's just the same shit with different variation. Divide and conquer. The first, I'm going to divide you. And whatever I need to do to divide you, the justification is what I'm going to use after I've conquered you. It's the same concept, ladies and gentlemen, and religion is one of the tools. So I don't need you to try to give me a lot of text mumbo jumbo for me to go. I don't need to read any book. All I can do, I can read you. Common sense will tell me that if you can have all the best knowledge in this world, for me, your knowledge is one thing, and I commend you for having that knowledge. But what I'm more interested to see is that what do you do with your knowledge? What are your actions from the knowledge you've acquired? Your actions is telling me that you don't go by what you write in the book. You don't treat me by what you write in the book. It's never been how you treat me. How you do business with me is not based on what you write in the book. The book is just a getaway card for you. That is why laws have clauses. There's clauses in every law that every constitution you find in this world. It has clauses, and you don't begin to think. Thinking is not fucking illegal. Because very soon we're going to get to a time whereby you won't be able to think for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last generation of the people who will be able to critically think for themselves. This is it, c'est fini. We will never have people more intelligent than we are today. Why? You want to ask me why? Because moving on, everybody will wait on all intelligence and knowledge that's been fed into AI. AI will now decide for you when to take a shit. AI will decide for you when to sleep with your wife. AI will tell you when you need to read your Bible and your Quran. We are done. Kaput. Because we can't afford to critically think for ourselves. So my African brothers and sisters, whatever you get to watch this, please share it. I know it's not one of those conversations. This one will make you think differently. Put the Bible down. Put the Quran down. And ask yourself, are you a good man? Are you a good woman? If you want to be any governor, any minister, any president of any country today, ask yourself, what country on the planet of this earth are you going to build your community on? What is your best model? Because for the last 2,000 years, the best model of this world is from a place of exploitation. I say it again. The base of how the world has been running for the last 2,000 years has been from a place of exploitation. It is not from a place of fairness. I need to exploit you. And how I'm going to exploit you is by finding every leverage that I can come up with. The leverage that I have over you is how I'm going to do business with you. So it's never from a place of fairness. Our ideology, all the institution, all the schools is giving you a lot of justification why I should fucking exploit you. That is how it's been. For 2,000 years, it's been the same thing. Because the foundation of how the world has been structured is from a place of exploitation. Someone said, yes, people don't read the Bible anymore. They don't read, but they read our attitude. In my attitude, my character, they would make a fellow man like me or to want to be like me. I want you to be my mentor. Thank you. I appreciate. Why? Because you have become a positive influence on them. You see, that is the thing. See, I'll say again one more time. This conversation today, I don't have any issues with a white man, with an Asian man or medium race. No, I don't. Because the thing is that you're suffering from the same thing that I'm suffering from. You just don't see it. Because at the side of you is that you feel like you're on top of the food chain right now. And I get it. And I commend you for it. Well done. Because the thing is that every 100 or 500 years, the world changes. China is the new leader in the world today. I know Americans, you want to be mad. You don't want to agree. Hey, we're American. You don't control shit. Excuse my French. Americans, you don't control nothing. Like I said yesterday, if you don't watch it, go and watch a live stream I did yesterday about Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom, whatever his name is. He said the system is broken. Why? Because American economy, they tell you publicly that they're in $37 trillion in debt. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a lie.
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Yes, it's bullshit because the real debt American hold is about $107 trillion in debt. Go and check. They even have it in their own government certified website that they put out there that calculates how much the debt is accumulating every day. Because when you scroll down, you see what they say, the real debt. So which means every American citizen today, before the ones that are even born, think about it for a second. Before you were even born, you are already holding a debt of almost $400,000. The kids you haven't even had, they are born into debt. Ta-da! The kid you haven't born today on every planet of this earth, as long as your country holds a debt to a particular bank, to IMF or any kind of bank, they are in debt. The banking system was designed and orchestrated. The foundation of banking was war. It was the justification why people put together that we need a bank. So ask yourself, if I want to change my dynamic, my society, what is going to be the architect of why I'm going to build a society? Like I said many times, ladies and gentlemen, thinking is not illegal. Let's use our mind first. So any Africans out there, there's about 50-something country in Africa. Please, the time for us to see our border as something that divides us is actually, our borders is what should actually unite us. Please record this and send it to any African that you know. Our borders is actually what should bring us together. Imagine 1 billion people put all the resources together. I did a video about this, I think it was last year, 2 years ago. If you scroll down my channel, you find it there. If we combine our resources together as Africans, on an average, we worth about $50 trillion annually. Do you know what $50 trillion is? $50 trillion, every black person on the planet of this earth will move back to Africa. Imagine we can have an infrastructure like China. Just imagine a world whereby we even have 20% of the infrastructures. It's not that we don't have the knowledge. It's not like we don't have the people that can do it. But our mind has been taken away from us. Our ideology, they've given us 5,000 billion reasons why we cannot work together. And we believe fervently that it's not going to work, more than how we believe why it's going to work. They give us more reason why we should stay divided, hide ourselves, fight ourselves. Yeah, the African deal. I hate Nigerians. Oh, I hate Nigerians. Nigerians are scout. That's all the thing you have in your head. You don't understand the benefit that comes with me as a Nigerian. Because the only thing you see is the negative stereotype about me. Because bad news travel 2 times, 3 times faster than any good things that I do. South Africa is the same thing. Guinea is the same thing. Liberia is the same thing. Kenya is the same thing. And there's a particular bit of country, I'm going to discuss this on my next live. We're going to talk about North Africa, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt. They're part of Africa. I don't know if they are, because they always exclude themselves. That's a conversation for another day. But you know what I'm talking about. If you look like me, we are the ones that always put our chest out there to face a lot of things, because when it's time for us to talk, those are the people that seems to care. This other part, you hardly see them. Like I said, conversation for another day. So please, all of this conversation is for us to sit down and start asking ourselves the realistic question: what has Quran done for me for the last 50 years? What has the Bible done for me for the last 50 years? The people who have Bible and the people who don't have Bible, what are they doing better? So if you don't even want to put down your Bible, hold down your Bible, but go and learn from those people that have better infrastructure than you, better resources than you. Don't go there with too much ego. Go there and go and learn. What do they do better than I do? And hopefully we have the leadership that is going to allow us to do it, because nothing happens today without proper leadership. Nothing. We can back and scream like a dog. It doesn't matter. If we don't have good leadership, nothing's going to work. Nothing is going to work. Nothing. No matter how you slice it, nothing is going to work. So please share this video with other Africans, because I don't have a lot of Africans watching. I have more people watching in America. That itself really teases me, because I tease Americans a lot, but I love them too. I have families who live there. I'll keep saying it. Shout out to aunties and my cousins and my uncles are over there. But the thing is that I'm just tired of how the world is. We're getting abused every day, insulted every day. We'll queue in all these embassies to get the visa so we can go there. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know in Sweden is begging people to get out of their country? They will pay you. We will pay you 30-something thousand euros for you to leave our country. And those places were built by the back of your soil. So if you enjoyed this live stream, please do me a favor. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share. Let me know where you agree with me, and when you don't agree with me, put it there. I'll read it all. Like I always say, thinking is not illegal, but you can pay me so I can think for you. And please, one other thing again, there's a PayPal thing right there. Scan it, donate, sponsor the show so that I can bring more people here and I can continue to come into here. Donate. Because if I was here now showing you how big my dick is, or how fat I have a nice female, or if I have a big ass now, you want to see it. The generosity is what's selling on social media. I think maybe I should make this my next conversation. The generosity sells on social media. Because there's one idiot that I saw on all those content creators. We watch live stream of people showing their asses and telling how big the dick is or how many women they're going to sleep with. Those are the conversations that we see on social media every day. And YouTube is going to promote it. But when it comes to real conversation like this, that is not backed by any state-owned media, that is not backed by any idiot out there, they're just showing you stupid things, like real constructive conversation. You don't see it. But if there's a woman here with the big titties, and the thing is happening out there, and she's you will see a lot of people will tune in. So support the show. Spend your hard-earned money to promote positive things. You see, that is another thing again that we don't do very well. We don't support our own. I'm challenging you now. If you say you like this live stream, use your own hard-earned money to support it. Now you are investing in yourself. I'll say it again. When you use your own hard-earned money to invest in what you believe in, now you are investing in yourself. So invest in this show if you like it. The thing is right there. You can see that paper. Scan it. Go turn on your big TV and scan it. It's much more bigger. Scan it. Poop. Donate. Nothing is too small. It helps because I use a lot of softwares here. And shit is expensive like a mother sucker. Very, very expensive. And I don't even know I'm doing it. But if you don't do it, I'll send Trump to come and knock your door. Thank you for listening to my yap. Like I always say, I'll see you guys again very soon. I beg.